for High Step, and you know, narrowed it down to two PMs. And you know, while it was a tough choice, it was a I you know, we decided to go with another PM for a project based on his experience related to that type of work. I thought I would introduce the team to Carlos, who I thought would be potentially ideal project slash product manager for TrackIt. And I just wanted to, I'd spoken to Carlos. I was briefly about TrackIt, the product itself. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the website or anything like that, but I also spoke to the team, and then I wanted to schedule a talk for you to meet the team, talk about your background experience and so forth. And the folks just kind of get a gauge for your experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, thank you for your introduction and your time, guys.
So I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce everyone. So who we have on the phone, principals of TrackIt. We have Rasul Ahmed, we have Scott Todd, and we have Patrick McCarthy.
Dope. Cool. Okay, so hello everyone, and thank you for your time and joining to this phone call. Yeah, it's I guess going straight to the point into my background. I started project management for software projects 5 years ago. That was in a company back in Costa Rica, where I'm from, and I did project management per se for a year for them, managing almost exclusively Toyota for them. So I was managing Jira issues and helping unblock team members, just like we're doing right now, jumping on daily phone calls because some people were working from India and some other were locals in the company. So it was fun for me to go to the actual Toyota's office. That was a fun experience for me back in the day. So I did project management, and I wanted to leverage the internet and start working remotely because I wanted to travel. So I applied for this tech startup in the Valley in San Francisco. The name is Gigster, and they interviewed me and did a couple of tech tests, and I did well. So they gave me a chance to jump into their network, and I started traveling, working for them. I've been managing and doing product work for now 4 years with them. Yeah, clients like Panasonic, and managing the whole, I guess, loop of product, jumping on conversations with stakeholders to define the scope, coming up with a final state of work, getting signatures to make sure everything is approved and everyone is on the same page. After that, starting designing lo-fi and hi-fi to, again, get a signature, get all designs approved, and then source for developers, start development phase, doing Scrum, jumping on weekly phone calls with the actual client to develop what was developed throughout the sprint, managing people from all over the world. I have people in Australia, New Zealand, Europe, in India, and of course America. And yeah, like one of the reasons I'm trying to join you guys is because even though I love Geekster and I love jumping on different clients and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to actually go back to my country now. I'm in Germany right now. All this time with Geekster, I've been traveling a lot, but it's I just turned 25 3 days ago, and I need to go back to my hometown and live almost like a more regular life. So I'm looking for a long-term contract. So Garrett talked to me about this project, and I was like, okay, that sounds like something very interesting. And like I said, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, And yeah, that's pretty much on a nutshell what I've done and the reason why I am talking to you today.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, Scott or Rasul, why don't you guys talk a bit about TrackIt, its background, and where we started, and how we arrived at the point we are now.
Okay. Good morning. How you doing? This is Rasul.
Yep.
Back in May 2013, Scott and I had been privy to TrackIt from a printer that I use for my other company, Linda Winter, in Kansas City. And it turns out her relative was married to the founder of TrackIt, who had passed away about 4 years before she told us about the product. And she told us because she knew that Scott and I have another product, software product called Claymetrics. And that company is called GT Analytics. At any rate, she said, look, I think there's an opportunity for you guys to help her out by buying the company. She doesn't have any interest in it. The company's been eroding very quickly. Patrick McCarthy, who's on the phone with us, was involved with TrackIt through a company that TrackIt had brought on, Black & Beach, which is a major engineering firm worldwide, to help take the product from a desktop to a browser-based product. And that was probably 2002, 2003. Patrick knows for sure. So they did. They were successful in doing that. They had another large company involved as well. So there was quite a bit of investment in the TrackIt product, taking it from a desktop product to browser-based product. At any rate, it turns out that the founder, his name was Dr. Robin Potter, had some kind of glitch or something. And as a result, the company, I guess he claimed bankruptcy, which then took his two partner companies. One was Anderson, now Accenture. And I think they kind of went away when they had a hiccup themselves and had to change from Anderson to Accenture. And then Black Beach. So the product now was solely owned by Dr. Potter. Well, unfortunately, Dr. Potter got ill, passed away probably a year or so later. And then the product was pretty much unstewarded. Patrick, being young and having a family, took another job because the handwriting was on the wall. And it turned out that just one employee of TrackIt stayed on, and she was the salesperson and so forth, and didn't have much support other than the fact that they knew they had to retain Patrick to maintain the product, make changes, modifications, and so forth. Well, when we got involved, the first thing that we did, myself and Scott, was we interviewed Patrick, because we know if we didn't have Patrick, then there's probably no sense in buying the product, because we wouldn't know much about it internally under the covers. It turns out Patrick was perfect in terms of his attitude, his skill level, his passion, and it just turned out to be an excellent fit for myself and Scott, because Patrick agreed to stay on a consultative basis, on an ongoing basis too, which is more important, and agreed upon compensation. So we bought the company on May 22nd, 2013. Then we had our attorneys make sure that we got everything turned over to us. And so it just was good for us. At any rate, then we brought on Omar, and he came in to help support the product, sell the product, so forth. And as a result, we just kind of stayed in one mode, which was fixing all of the performance issues and some of the bugs that no one had time to do, prior to us buying it. And we still didn't even have a full-time focus on the product to do some of the things that were necessary to make us competitive again. TrackIt had been the premier offering in the space that we're in, trade show management products, if you will. And this product was premier, and Robin was pretty prolific at the industry because he helped create the industry. He used to be a dentist, and he attended a ton of trade shows, so he knew how problematic it was and it is to plan a trade show if you don't have the right tool to do it, because there's communications internally, externally, there's the dollars, the budget, there's a propensity to register for the trade show late, which there's pretty big, good sized penalty, particularly as you would attend more than 4 or 5 a year. It could cost you a lot more and break your budget. Then there's other little things that can happen with inventory. Things don't ship in time. You got all kinds of logistical things that can turn out to be a nightmare. Drayage, when the product gets there, who's going to bring, as your food gets there, who's going to bring it into the trade show? How much does that cost? There's a lot of hidden costs, and it could be problematic if you don't have that roadmap, if you will, so that you can see this stuff and proactive. You can chime in if you want, Scott, but at any rate, we then met Garrett. And when we met Garrett, we were focused on looking at someone that we could bring in as a partner who could help us move this product along, move this development along. It turns out God really blessed us because Garrett was the one. He had the exact same spirit that myself and Patrick and Omar had in terms of his focus and view of business. And how to deliver a product and make sure that the customer comes first, and that we have a product that's strategic and one that we know could eventually dominate the industry, as TrackIt had done before. So after Garrett got to learn the product a little bit more and became more passionate about it, he was the one. We had some other people involved, but that's neither here nor there. But they weren't the right ones. Garrett was. So Garrett has now become an equity owner in TrackIt as of, a couple of years ago or more. And we have made tremendous progress in taking that Sleepy product and changing the look and feel. We have other plans, and Scott, Garrett, and Patrick have come up, and Omar have come up with a roadmap of things that we plan to do with the product. But we've had a major groundbreaking, event in our history as of July 1st of 2019. And that is that Garrett has 2 developers that now we look at as part of the TrackIt team, Pravash and Bakash. They're in India. And they took the direction from Scott, Garrett, Patrick, Omar, to a lesser degree, and they have revamped the product to where it is right now. Now, there are other changes that we can discuss as we go along, which is why we're talking with you, because we have a number of things that we're trying to do to make sure that our existing customers take full advantage and also have input in terms of where we really want to take the product in some of the finer nuances that can make a huge difference. Because at this level, it's not like the big things, but it's the smaller things that we can do with this product that will differentiate us from the rest of the folks that are in this space.
Good.
One of the largest segments in this space of trade show management, and one of the larger tools, so to speak, is just your plain Excel spreadsheet, which is totally problematic because it really lends itself to making a lot of errors and costing you a lot of money. So we know that there's a huge marketplace out there for us to attack and to make our presence known, because they actually have a need for us. Some of them don't know it. They don't even know that this product exists or this kind of technology for this industry exists. So we have that out there. We have others too who do know it exists, and they're using other products. And then fortunately, we have our own customer base. TrackIt was really dominant in the industry, as I said earlier, until Dr. Carter got ill, and the company just kind of, went along, kind of laissez-faire, hands off. Nobody was really guiding the company. And as a result, we lost a lot of customers, a lot of revenue, until myself and Scott bought the company. We stopped that erosion of customers and revenue. We had a few more leave because of some of the things that they had experienced. They just didn't have any patience or any belief. But the ones that we have now, they're believers because they've seen a lot. And as I said, the gentleman that contacted you, Garrett Chang, really has helped us jump on the needs that our existing customers have. And we've been able to satisfy those needs, or at least the promise that we are heading in the right direction and we're heading back up, because we had really, hit a real low spot at the time that we bought the company. So there's a bit of an overview. Scott can add to what I've probably missed. And if you'd like, I'll turn it over to Scott right now, and then we can just continue on with this conversation.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's clear enough. And Garrett, in our second phone call, he gave me a little bit of the background, which I thought was pretty unique and interesting. And yeah, I'm not sure, Garrett, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so, one of the things I see, obviously worked in the industry in software development and delivering software projects. One of the crucial pieces in software development teams is the need for someone on the ground on a day-to-day basis managing product deliverables, not only communicating with stakeholders, customers, but also serving as bridging that gap between the development team and the stakeholders / customers. And I think in the case of TrackIt, as now we are beginning to grow and we are gaining momentum, I see that as a pivotal role that is needed. And in speaking with you and seeing your background and the fact that you've worked in similar situations and with our startup companies in particular, and especially with your stint at Gigster, I know that you've worked with quite a few different startups.
Yeah.
And seeing their pain points, the ups and downs, highs and lows, and managing development teams, especially remote development teams, folks who are potentially globally dispersed. And managing that communication and managing the product deliverables, especially when you're working on MVPs, time to market is essential.
Yeah.
So I see some of those, that experience translating well into TrackIt and our needs. So not only do I see a need for day-to-day management and deliverables, delivery of features or functionality, I also see that communication piece. I think we need to close the loop in terms of communication, constant communication with our customers, our clients, and involving them in this process. As we are now revamping the software and relaunching the software, we need that to close that communication gap and greater touch with our customers and soliciting feedback from our customers, listening to them, incorporating that feedback into how we plan product features.
Yeah,
and our product roadmap.
Very good. That's a very good vision, and it makes me comfortable to say that I would love to join, because I'm very, very good at deploying empathy, not only for stakeholders but customers, and also I'm very good at making feel people that's part of something, part of the creative process of something, even though they might not really be part of. I'm very good at making them feel like they are part of it.
Right, because I've learned that when they feel like they're part of it, they're really empowered.
They engage,
and they feel empowered.
Exactly.
And they do want to help when they feel they're part of something.
100%.
All right, so that's been my thinking, which I've shared with the rest of the team. So with that said, I know that you guys had, the team had a few questions and things they wanted to ask. I don't know if that is still the case, but I'd like to open it up for further questions and things you may have for Carlos.
Yeah. All ears.
Yeah, so this is Scott. So it sounds like you've done quite a bit of project program management. Can you describe or tell us an area where maybe it didn't go quite as smoothly, and then what techniques and what you did maybe to try to get it back on track. So more of a challenging situation.
Sure, 100%, man. All right, let me take it back to my very last client. We were building a cloud-based project management platform and for construction projects. So there is essentially like 24 competitors, right? So we were starting to build this MVP and practically following the 5 most important features, and there were angel investors bringing money, and we were building this MVP. And after 8 months of development, we launched the project, and it didn't really go as expected, but we were on a maintenance contract at the moment. So me and another product manager, we decided to do something different. So what we did is we got LinkedIn premium accounts. So we were able to send unlimited messages to people that were outside of networks. So what we did is we pretty much reached out to at least 100 customers of each one of the competitors. And we were offering $15 or $5, depending on the time, gift cards for people to talk to us. And we were jumping on phone calls with people that were actual clients of the competitors, and pretty much jumped on a bunch of phone calls that took a bunch of time. And after that, we were pretty much trying to figure it out. What was the reason why they purchased that product in the first place, and why they were still customers, and what we could offer to get them. So after talking to like 50 people, 45 people, something like that, we realized that the reason why there were customers of the platforms was customer relationship, because many, at least in this industry, the clients are kind of old people, not really techie. So what we did is we created an 24-hour 24/7 chat availability with a small team of people from India, and they were just always online, getting messages from customers that were confused, or they didn't really understand how to use the platform or things like that. And starting with 24 users to now, last week 2,000 or something like that. So the takeaways for me was going straight to the actual customer. And even though it takes a bunch of time, and as product managers we're always doing something, doing the extra mile to actually talking to them on the phone, and just listening to their pain points and what they need, which a whole lot of people does not really do that, and coming up with a solution for them. It was a great experience for me, because it made me feel like, I really cared about what they need, and just trying to deliver a solution to the problem. So that would be the example I would like to use for your question.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Shoot away.
Tool sets. What kind of tools do you normally use to do all the communication, project tracking, so forth?
From the team perspective, or from like talking to customers?
Both.
Both of it. Okay. My workflow is pretty standard. I use Jira for issues tracking. I use Slack for global communication. I use Google to create accounts for the team, and use spreadsheets and docs online so that everybody can collaborate asynchronically. And what else is important? I mean, yeah, for designs, I'm very good using Sapling because everybody can collaborate as always. Am I missing something? Yeah, I mean, for merging code to the master branch, I'm very used to GitHub. So that's, I mean, pretty standard way of working, and that's how Kickster does it. So that's just how I do it. It works. And from customers or people outside my team, I mean, I'm open and flexible to do whatever their customer or any stakeholder wants to use. So even though I've used Slack to talk to stakeholders, I'm also open to just do it more personally and close and use WhatsApp or iMessage. I'm just pretty much flexible and very friendly, so I can make decisions based on whatever needs to be done.
Okay. One of the things I noticed as well is I noticed that I was impressed with. I noticed that you wrote a few articles on LinkedIn, for example, and maybe blog articles, something along those lines. Can you talk about just your use of social media, and have you been in situations or worked with clients where you also assisted in their sales and marketing, or whether it's social media or just whether it's cold calling, whether it's emails and so forth?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I mean, the thing with Gigster is the more projects I got done with another product manager or by myself, the more trust we were creating. I'm talking about me and Gigster, their H quarters. So the latest contracts were more about starting from idea to final launch to then almost 6 to 8 months of a contract where we were doing all we could to get to 1,000 subscribers or to 1,000 signups. So yeah, I'm straight up a hustler, if you will, in the sense that I'm willing to leverage social media platforms to create content, offer value from us, the team of the product, to the final users. So I'm very used to create guides or how-tos, if you will, just to make it faster for them to learn, or actual videos. I love making videos or forms of guides to the customers or to stakeholders to just understand how a feature works. That's one thing. The other thing is creating social selling strategies. I use LinkedIn for lead generation. I know how to track lead generation, jump on clients, and create sales metrics that are data based. And I've done it plenty of times, and it's something I'm actually passionate about, almost like a hobby. I like crafting articles that bring value to the ultimate client or customer. And yeah, I mean, it's just one other thing that I'm actually passionate about. And I remember you telling me that there's also a way for me to contribute in sales, and that's just more than I can ever ask, because if I get to work on project and talk to stakeholders and also do sales work, I'll be pretty much doing everything I like, and that'd be pretty amazing.
You talk a little bit about marketing and so forth like that. Have you, and lead generation and so forth, have you done some marketing plans and helped take brand new products to market or existing products to market, been involved in kind of the strategy and so forth?
I mean, yeah, I'm not a marketing expert by any means. That's a disclaimer, but I've been part of the process from the product perspective, so that someone that really understands marketing can get my ideas and make it into strategies, let's say. In the Gigster network, we have marketers, and I am part of Gigster today, so it's just a message away from me to contact someone that's doing that for a living, right? So, I mean, I've done marketing strategies with help, not crafted marketing strategies by myself, but I understand the process and I can execute on them, and I always can reach out for someone to give me ideas, and then executing ideas is not hard. So that would be my answer.
Yeah, and that's probably what I was more getting at. Not necessarily that you're, designed it all out, but you've been involved, you've helped implement and provide feedback and input into it. So, you've experienced it.
Exactly. So I understand the process. I know how to execute it, and I understand which platforms they use, for instance.
Okay, great. So looking at, I'm sure you looked at our website, you kind of learned as much as you could about our product. But as going forward, providing this is a good fit, do you see yourself being prepared to help us by you kind of taking out a lead role in defining a product roadmap and features in terms of the technology?
I think I'm going to need you to repeat that question. You're saying, are you asking if I'm ready now? Is that the question?
No. I'm saying it's just, providing this is fit for us and we go forward with you.
Yeah.
Within, 8 months, a year, what have you, as you really begin to learn exactly what it is we're doing, all of the things that our product has right now has, it's helping our customers. More importantly, what do you see, and will you be in a position to help us see that we need to do or we should be doing, building into a product that we can really take the leadership in the industry? Do you see yourself having that skill level to help us define a roadmap where we need to go?
100%. I mean, one of the things I like to call myself is, just because of my experience, like for whatever reason, the universe or life have been giving me these opportunities to learn from startups from scratch. So I've been called a jack of all trades for many years now, and I'm willing to do whatever, to learn whatever skills. And one of the reasons I'm here today is because I'm looking for a long-term relationship. It's been fun for me to join products from A to Z, but I haven't been able to stay 2 years, 3 years in the same project so that I see the next horizon. I know how to bring them to life, how to launch them, how to get thousands of signups, let's say, but I still need and I want the chance to grow even more. So